Hello everyone, thank you for joining in. All right, we would like to welcome you to another edition of Growth Webinar by Shiprocket. And today's edition is by Shiprocket Checkout, wherein we will learn about how to elevate your conversion rates by up to 60%. And as you all know, as you're running your businesses on your own, you know how important it is for your business to have great conversion rates. And since I do not have the proper expertise in it, we have industry leaders with us, Mr. Paritosh Bindra and Mr. Gourav Mangla, who will lead you to throughout the session, and who will enlighten you with all the information, and who will give you all the proper insights in detail. And before I give hand over to the panelists, I would like to give a brief introduction of our panelists. So, Mr. Gourav Mangla is our co-founder of Pickrr and CEO, and is heading Shiprocket Checkout with us. So, being a seasoned entrepreneur, he has known from finding two successful ventures with a passion for building and scaling startups. He has navigated companies through phases and secured investment. With an experience in significant M&A deals valued at approximately $200 million, he brings invaluable expertise to the table. With an experience of over 12 years, he knows everything inside about D2C and building e-commerce products. His strength lies in being a great leader in building high-performing teams. Welcome, Gourav Mangla.
Yeah, hi everyone. For the introduction, I'm not any M&A specialist. I'm just a startup enthusiast. Almost a 12 years career now. Started at Bangalore in my first job, and then from then got exposure to startup ecosystem and spent more than 10 years now in this ecosystem. Majorly e-commerce for a year in HR tech, and now learning more and more. And e-commerce is evolving, so that my learning, and it's a great journey. Looking forward to this great webinar session. Yeah, so
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you. Welcoming Mr. Paritosh Bindra, who is the vice president of the e-commerce chain at Blackberrys Men, Blackberrys Wear, and he is responsible for managing the digital transformation at Blackberrys with a goal of transitioning the company into a true online to offline oriented organization in coming years. With over 23 years of experience, his expertise is in the retail and e-commerce, and has an hands-on experience successfully building and scaling e-commerce startups through operational enhancements and strategic category interventions. Welcome, Paritosh, and I hope to have an insightful journey with you today.
Thank you, Priya. Thanks a lot. Just to introduce myself, Priya has already done. It's been more than 23 years into the retail industry, out of which last 13 years has been into the e-commerce domain. Right, work across multiple companies, right from Vishal Mega Mart to Landmark to Snapdeal and Ferns and Patel. And currently, I am working with the Blackberrys. So Blackberrys is fundamentally into the men's apparel domain. We are a 30-year-old organization, and we have approximately 1,200 doors across the country, right? And I'm responsible for building up an O2O channel. So a lot of people say O2O is Omni, but Omni is one subset of O2O. Fundamentally, O2O is offline to online and online to offline. So I'm responsible for building O2O digital transformation at Blackberrys. Good to be here.
Thank you, Paritosh and Gaurav. So, handing over to both of you to lead the growth webinar ahead. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Ria. And so, guys, as we all know that, typically any buyer who comes to D2C, he has to go through a process. Like, a lot of them, like almost every one of them has an exposure to a marketplace checkout. But when they come to a D2C checkout, they expect the kind of experience they had on, on the Amazons and the Flipkarts of the world. So now lot of firms, and not only like, any upcoming brand, existing brands also, traditionally scale brand, when they open their D2C website, they introduce long forms of, capturing details. Then, there are a lot of payment options, but, some are broken, some are not. And then on the discount engine also, there are standard practices of discount engines. And then some of the brands do not have that kind of a brand pull which can give you a trust that you can purchase from any xyz.com. So these are the things that we will discuss today. So starting off with you, Paritosh, as you have led the BlackBerry front, so would be great like if you can share some insights of yours on the checkout process of BlackBerry as a D2C website.
Yep. Gaurav, in fact, the D2C part of BlackBerry is just 2.5 year old, and we started with the Shopify. So we are on the Shopify Plus, and we were having the same issue of what you mentioned, that because Shopify Plus were not having the options of pre-filled address details of the consumer. So a lot of while we were mapping the funnel journey, right from the traffic landing to the traffic exiting or the order being placed, we were facing this issue that a lot of the traffic was coming and it was leading to the checkout pages, but there was a lot of dropouts which were happening. And one of the things which we saw was uh, on the address page, lot of people were dropping out, and we were not able to find the answers to it. That why people have taken so much of a pain to select a product and then come there and then drop out. That was one part of the problem. Second part of the problem, people were filling the details, but the details were incomplete. Either people missed filling it, or people did not fill it properly. So while the product was being dispatched, the courier fundamentally was moving the products into NDR report, and then the resulting in RTO at some extent. I think that was one of our major pain point area, and we wanted to solve it. So that's what when we got in touch with Shiprocket, and this facility or this option was shown to us, that by implementing the checkout process from Shiprocket, the the page will get pre-filled because as you as a company had a lot of experience into this domain, which means you have a lot of information available with you in terms of the addresses of the consumer. I think yes, it solved one of the big points for BlackBerry per se, that the consumer who were dropping out were able we were able to basically fundamentally solve that issues of the consumer. So yeah, it was a great help to us. We worked quite hand in hand with your team to get the integration done, and it was something which was we thought it would be a painful process, but it was not. I mean, it was quite a smooth process for us to get the integration done between your team and at our team level. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Paritosh. And for the viewers, just to highlight this journey that we do close to 15 million transactions a month in the last mile part of it. So we fairly know that any transaction which is going from point A to point B, what's the probability of it getting delivered? This is the problem statement that we are trying to master it at Shiprocket. So we are bringing the same learning on the checkout front as well, that we know the address, we know many addresses particular to a phone number, and we also know the last delivered address where the customer has received the shipment. So why this line is very important is that a lot of people in our data, what we have seen is 2% RTOs happen because of customer unavailability, and more than 5% RTOs happen because of wrong addresses, or a delivery boy is not able to reach the destination point. So this problem statement, if you do well on this front, that we know the last delivered address, last contactable number through which the delivery was there, and we also have the consent of the buyer, that you can come in at this point of time. We can do scheduling with the buyer as well through our NDR process, that if you are not available tomorrow, maybe we can come on some future date. You give us a date, and that date is communicated to the courier company in real time. So there is a lot of science which goes behind this address pre-filling, and it is just not address pre-filling. It's more than address pre-filling. It brings in the entire last mile experience as well along with it. And this has ensured that we have seen the delivered conversion. See, a lot of people, they just talk about conversion. Conversion, it can be anything, like if I can get you any kind of orders on any spend, but the actual orders are the orders which are getting delivered, where companies also realizing the amount of the order, and also the end buyer is eventually getting the product, and he's able to communicate about his experience about the product. So we call it as a realized CAC, where people only talk about CAC, but the actual CAC is the realized CAC, which has to be calculated on the delivered orders front. So that's the point here. And
In fact, I'll add another thing, Gaurav. What we also realized at BlackBerry also, that initially at an early part of the e-commerce journey, the address pre-filled was one of the luxuries which consumer expected, right, from a website. I think now, with all the big players coming to the picture, this is something which has become a norm. The consumer who is locking onto the, because we keep on doing the calls to the consumer, right? And consumer says, look, I when I go to all the big e-commerce player, I don't have to fill my address there again and again. They automatically take my address. I think now it has become more of a demand from a consumer that this is fundamentally should be available on the website. I think that's where you guys have helped us, that it is not about a luxury now. It's about a basic requirement which the consumer expect from us. And consumer thinks that if they cannot give me a basic thing, how will they able to deliver a right product to me at a right time? I think that's also one of the things which is there.
Yeah, absolutely, Paritosh. And adding to it, there are two other benefits which comes along with it. See, still the Android penetration is huge in the country as compared to iOS. Still, and Truecaller penetration is even deeper. Like almost 9 out of 10 phones have Truecaller installed in them today. So if you have a Truecaller and you are on an Android device, everything works very seamless with you. Like you don't have to even put in your OTP. We already have that covered for you. So this also reduces the checkout time and enhances conversion. And the other thing is that more than 1 lakh websites are being powered by Shiprocket. So if you have done shopping on any of those websites, and they have all have given consent to like the consumer to prefetch addresses, then if you have done a prefetch on one website, then in all 1 lakh websites you are automatically logged in. So you don't have to go through this process at all. It's just that it will come up as a magic that you entered on any xyz.com. Then you did up shopping there, and then you had do a shopping on BlackBerry. You just went on BlackBerry, did a payment, and you are done in like literally 8 seconds. So this is the kind of magic upon as a that's a plus layer on the addresses, and which helps us delivering all these things. And we are trying to replicate the same on the iOS experience as well. So this will further enhance our conversion. And conversion moves as a network effect, that once a buyer sees the branding pull of BlackBerry, the branding pull of Shiprocket, and the eventually his experience in this entire transaction, then whenever he will go to any other website, either replicating any kind of BlackBerry stuff, it's a marketplace selling BlackBerry, or if it's some any pqrs.com powered by Shiprocket, he will be more than happy to to consume and interact with those websites. And it will bring a trust in the buyer that I can do a transaction here, it's safe. So these are the things that we are trying to come up, and for every platform, like normalize it not only for Shopify, we have done it for WooCommerce now. We are live with custom integrations now. You can come up with anything. We are hugely expanding our team, and you can see that in the tech front we are as hit and trial and as brute force as possible, just to get every planning and strategy executed for a company on their checkout, and not only for the management but also for the marketing teams as well, because they can be internal as well and external as well. So we can cover up all these things, but this is like really something that we are very much committed upon delivering. We have seen more than 20% upside in conversions. We have seen more than 15% upside in prepaid orders. And some of the clients who tried other products also, they went away and they came back that our prepaid conversions fell, our realized CAC fell. And in order to see your realized CAC, it takes more than 60 to 90 days. But on the financial ledger point of view as well, we are trying to come up with tools to give you real insights in real time, so that on the marketing front, on the conversion front, both us and our clients both can evolve and evolve the strategies and come up with more and more of a robust experience for our buyers. Yeah. So
I think the
and
other part which people or lot of us usually fail to notice is that uh, the conversion is so lot of discussion which we have with our marketing agency is about a gross a conversion, but usually that is at a gross level. Ideally, ideally a conversion needs to be talked at a net level of saying how much consumer came in, how much converted, and how much actually got delivered, which is fundamentally at BlackBerry we follow the principle of money in the bank rather than money in the transit or money in the on the ship side of the story. I think so these tools also, and I think you'll cover it further, helps us in that net conversion rather than a gross conversion, which is becoming a lot of norm of an industry. When they talk on a gross conversion, not on the net conversion.
Absolutely. And it starts with in the checkout journey post when you fill your addresses and all those things. If we are able to communicate that, you can get your product in multiple timelines. If Shiprocket offers a functionality where you can use our warehouses. You, on the basis of your demand forecast, you can keep X amount of your inventory in Bangalore, Y in Mumbai, Z in Kolkata, and P in Delhi. And depending upon the forecast, if any buyers orders from these regions, or within 500 kilometers of these regions, you can give them an EDD of less than 2 days. Further, you can give a same day delivery option as well. We have a lot of localized network, and now Misho coming up with Valmo. We will also utilize the strength of Misho and use them for last mile local deliveries as well. So there is a lot of things which happen in the ecosystem of shipping, and whatever we learn and evolve from the shipping universe, we bring that in other products as well. So in the checkout, you can have multiple EDDs. Your buyer will be very much informed that I can get this product in 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, and we are there. We ensure that some 95% plus adherence to those EDDs. That will further give a buyer another enriching experience. This experience is comparable to the experience of Amazon, like how freely I can shop from Amazon, I can shop from blackberry.com, I can shop from any other website as well. So these are the things, as you rightly said, we are trying to bring and ensure that we are becoming more and more seamless and intelligent along with time. So next, I think we can also touch upon this point of coupon engine, loyalty strategies, any promotional strategies or any marketing strategies that you or any other brand wants to execute, and it eventually gets communicated to buyers either through WhatsApp, email kind of channels, or when they are interacting with the checkout of the site. So what has worked for you? How has been your experience on that front? And what kind of feedback would you like to give us to evolve more and more?
So one of the other thing which we did with the Shiprocket is that there are a lot of people who are moving towards the to the COD side of the story, and we wanted to shift the base from a COD to a prepaid, because ultimately that's the actual money in the bank. So we did two or three different things on the platform. One thing is that we brought the UPI on the top of the checkout process, and we pushed COD to the last, fundamentally, so that the consumer who is coming, he sees the UPI, then he sees the net banking, then he sees the credit card, then he sees the EMIs, and then wallet, and then he goes and checks the COD. So we saw that the clicks onto the COD as a percentage started moving towards the lower side. Then the second part which we implemented is on a discount on a prepaid, on not on the prepaid, more on the UPI kind of a thing, that if you're going to pay from a UPI. So we were able to do that very very fast with you guys, was to implement a percentage check on the UPI. The moment the is UPI is showing, it is showing that if you're going to use this particular percentage, you will be able to get an 4%, 5% discount on that. And we were able to get it changed on a weekly basis to see to do the A/B testing. So that also worked quite well for us. The third part which we did to control this space of an RTOs is to have a token amount extra being charged on a COD order. So one thing is the COD is on the down, the consumer has to go down and search it. So he already has option on the top, which is UPI with a discount percentage, with the EMI percentage which you guys had. And when he reaches the COD, then again he has another deterrent which saying, if you're gonna be buying out from a COD, we will be charging you an X amount of money. So we started with 25 odd rupees. And even when he's saying yes, we are still asking him, we asked him, do you still want to proceed with the COD? There's a better option available for you at a prepaid. So why don't you still go and try? I think these are the some changes which we were able to implement. We were not able to do with the Shopify. We tried multiple payment gateway or the payment gateway of Shopify also. But this is something which we were able to quickly turn around, and this is something stayed with us, that a 4-step process for us. I think it is working well for us.
Yeah, thanks, Paritosh, and you have covered it really well. So for our viewers also, I'll also give some more generalizations on the things. First is, in the checkout, you can use it as an A/B testing product. Like Paritosh said, you can have different intent flows. Like if you want to project prepaid more, you can have shift prepaid from options 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can have themes around the same. You can have different discounts on different modes. Like on COD, you can, charge extra shipping, or on prepaid, you can give, let's say, 50 rupees, 100 rupees off. Further, if you guys see, there are a lot of companies who are working in the coupon and loyalty kind of stuff. There are many. All those companies, they reach out to brands, they promote offers for them, and you can integrate all those companies into our checkout. We are compatible with almost all the majority companies, floating around. So these are the extra benefits. And further, you can also integrate 2 or 3 different gateways, because sometimes, if one PG is down, what will happen to your website? Your entire transaction or your entire PNL is blocked for that time. So you can integrate 3 PGs, and then you can schedule, or you can give a priority order of 1, 2, 3. If one is down, you can use 2, then 3. So all these makes and shifts, all these A/B testing things gives you a lot of robustness around your platform, and ensures that the buyer feels really happy, and eventually he crosses the line whenever he is doing a transaction. And as Paritosh said, money in the bank is the real metric. And for that also, on the COD front also, we have an additional check of a profile. If a buyer profile is a negative profile in terms of RTOs, if he does a lot of RTOs in the domain, we will give you a score, and then you can block the COD option for that buyer as well. That if you want to do a transaction here, do a prepaid only, don't do a COD transaction. As it's kind of a CIBIL score kind of stuff, that it's negative around here, but majority of it's positive. And when as a buyer comes, and if he sees there's a COD option and there's a prepaid option, I can get a product for, let's say, 500 rupees in prepaid and 615 COD. Then eventually, if you trust the website, he will go for the prepaid option only. Then, as you can see, UPI is also penetrating a lot. So you can do endless sort of stuff with checkout on all kinds of platforms. So guys, let us know, if you face any new challenge, any other challenge, any more integrations you need, we are always there and up for it. So Paritosh, on the other front is that, see, we all believe, all these things work. But when you actually realize the data, that should speak up that, all these conversions are coming. So how has been your experience on the data front with the Shiprocket Checkout? Are you seeing the right matrices? These are getting delivered to you in time? Is there a dashboard? Or is there a support team which helps you guys navigate with any kind of understanding you need?
I think Gaurav, I think you missed one of the points covering which I'll actually like to bring out before I move to the data side of the story. Other thing, I think one of the things which we were able to do with your help was blocking the consumer who has a tendency to do high RTO. I think that was another facility which we were not able to get from the other players we were talking to, right? Whether it was a razor pay or whether it was simple, and so you were able to fundamentally provide us the data of saying, this consumer has a high probability of an RTO. So instead of showing him a COD, why don't you show him a prepaid? I
Right.
think, and then there is another facility which you guys have is of saying this consumer who's placing an order with you based on the phone number, uh, most likely to have a kind of most likely will not be a genuine transaction with them. I think with us, we were able to block around 1,500 customer based on. So what we did, to be very frank, we don't want to implement that particular model straight away because it impacts the revenue at some end. So what we did was we did for a month, we took our data out from our orders, and then we got the data from your system which says. These are the customer who are more likely to be a risk order or a higher RTO order, and we matched that data. So what we realized was that the orders which we got, 70% of the data did the RTO. So if we did 100 orders and your engine said this all 100 orders will be in higher RTO, and we did the actual transaction, 70% of that were the RTOs. Because again, it's an ongoing activity. So let's assume that 30% still got delivered, but 70% was inaccurate, and we were actually then. So now what we have done is that we have let that engine run in the system automatically, and it's blocking those consumer who tend to be a high risk RTO consumer. I think that's something which was great. We are able to control our RTO, and the second part of the same data point. Again, these are data being supplied by you guys to us, and we were able to check it from your panels and implement it. Was the pin code data? So on a certain pin code, you guys have a facility of saying we can block a COD on those particular pin codes. So we again did the same test run, and we have currently blocked around I think 400 pin codes for a COD order, and that's something for us is a every month exercise that we pick up the pin codes and see the cohort of that particular pin code. And now so one is the customer and being blocked for a COD, so he still can pay from a prepaid EMI and a wallet kind of a thing, but he cannot do a COD. Similarly, at a pin code level, we are able to do the same implementation. So I think, yeah, to the question which you're saying. So, and this all was possible because the data was available in panel for us. Or if there's something is not available on a panel, we were able to actually ask from you, and you guys were able to give us as data. That's another point, I think, which was wonderful for us.
Absolutely. And all these intelligence strategies which are working, and we are there at a 65 to 75% kind of an accuracy there. And we aspire to be at an 85, 90% accuracy as more and more data also matures with us. And these strategies are not only available on checkout. If what we are doing ONDC enablement, we are doing last mile enablement, we are doing all different kinds of products in warehousing, international, everywhere, and you will get all these intelligences in other domains as well. Like we also have one brand which is a very huge brand like Blackberry with it's a listed company as well. And there we have seen in every month there is a time when from a particular set of pin codes a lot of false transactions happen, and we have helped them blocking those transactions, and that has reduced leakage by more than 20 lakh rupees a month for them. And this becomes one of the sticking patterns for them in all our products, and they're not only using just the checkout product, they're using 5 6 products across the ecosystem. So this is these are the pros of an ecosystem nurturing that's happening, and whatever learning one product gives, that gets penetrated to all the products that we offer as a bouquet of services. So speaking of services, the one very critical thing in the services sector is the service offering, is the support. It's, when things go wrong, how things are managed, how things are impacted, and also discussing the timeline of a service, or, how we will evolve as a service, evolution process. It's a two-way thing, for that. What I have learned is there have to be review meetings, in which review meetings, there are two main points. One is all the negative points of today or any correction points for today, and what's the timeline for these things that we need to implement in next 90 days to 180 days. So how has been that experience for you with us?
So, Gaurav, I think I've been in touch. So fundamentally, we talk a lot to Paras from your team, and you know, I haven't faced a situation where the response time has been slow with you guys, right? Because usually we are again I said we are a retail-led organization, so a lot of changes keeps on happening in terms of the offers or the promotions, and I think we haven't faced any such challenge from you guys where there has been a delay in implementing something which we asked for. In fact, as recently we have done the integration of our loyalty points, of offline loyalty points with you guys, and you guys were able to actually turn it around in a pretty good time frame. All those integration working with Capillary to get the point redemption live on our website. In fact, between today and tomorrow, we should be able to go live with a complete loyalty program, which is an offline loyalty program into the online. So I think yeah. So uh, as a team, we haven't faced any such response lag in response time with you guys. You guys been quite proactive in dealing with our requirement, and we since as I said, we are more of a retail organization. Our requirements are typical of a D2C startups, right? And which usually when the people come in, they say, "Ki yaar, ye to something which we don't do usually." I think your team is able to adapt to that perfectly well. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Paritosh. So, Paritosh, let's would be great like if we can cover some questions of audiences for now. So
Yeah.
maybe Ria, you can share some audience questions so that both Paritosh and I can answer.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, so Gaurav, we are having multiple questions around the audience wants to have a little demo of the product. So I have a little video with us. So if you could
Okay.
just through the video, I'll start the video.
Okay, yeah, sure. Go ahead and please, start it.
So it's just the process. You can give an overview to the audience. It will get played.
Yeah, guys. So here you can add your phone number and you will be asked for an OTP. If you have Truecaller installed, the OTP will not be asked. And you have already done this OTP process on any other, Shiprocket powered website, then this will be automatically done. By default, your last delivered address will be selected. And what the discussions that me and Paritosh had around RTO profiling and all that will be communicated to the brand. So I think Ria, we can go around it like this. So guys, you can see that all the coupons, you can select all the coupons here. It's like checkout processes that you see on very world products like Zomato and Swiggy as well. You can have multiple intent flows around the same. Yeah, you can move ahead. Here you can also see EDDs that you can get it by Friday, Thursday, different timelines as well. And if the seller is on a warehousing front, you will see seven or eight EDDs as well. And depending upon your requirement of the timeline, you can select them. And no matter like it doesn't matter that if something comes up for you on that EDD date, you can reschedule your appointment with the delivery boy through our Shiprocket product as well. Yeah, then you can see your order summary. Clients can do a lot of stuff around there. There's all the white spaces you can assume like a real estate for all the clients. They can run their promotional offers. They can run customer specific offers. They can run gamifications around the same as well. Yeah, we can move ahead. And like you can see, there is a UPI option, COD option, wallets or EMIs, banks, everything is there. And you can have multiple gateways supporting all this stuff so that if one fails, you can switch over to others as well. And this process works perfectly well for Shopify, WooCommerce, and custom websites. Fewer custom websites, and because custom websites is another bouquet of integrations where 80-90% we can automate, and still 10 to 20% we will have to work with the tech teams of the sellers as well. We will be very soon coming up with Magento and OpenCart as well. Yeah. So Paritosh, anything on the UX front that you'd like to highlight? that has, outshined at Blackberry with us?
To be very frank, I'm not. So I think that's one part. I wanted to develop more further. So what we have is perfectly fine working for us. But I mean, and this is purely from me as a brand rather than me as a D2C. That's
Yeah,
I think we wanted to get bit of a brand tenants into a checkout process. And I understand because it's more of a generic side of the story. So I think somewhere on the line we do two things with your team. One thing is to we are working on developing a complete a discounting and a promotion module with you guys. So what happens is, in a D2C startup, usually it is 10%, 20%, 30% off, or buy one get one off, or
yeah,
buy two get three off, and so on, which are pretty comparatively much standard discounts and a promotion. In a retail environment, that changes because and we cannot have a different promotion from a retail to a online. So what we started working with your team is to see, can we develop a complete promotion module which is personalized to us, or for that matter personalized to anyone else when once that gets developed. So I think that's one part which we're doing with you, which we started doing with you guys. Second part which we need, which we will be working with you guys, I think, where the UI UX come into picture, is how do we get the brand tenants into the place. Look, otherwise it's fine, perfect. The product is fine. The movements is fine. Consumer is working well for us. But I think one part which we have not typically picked up is to get the brand tenant into this process, which may be a personalized for us and maybe personalized tomorrow for someone else. I think that's one part which we intend to cause with you guys. Yeah.
sure, Paritosh, it will all be available for you. And we are also working on to this as a whole, as a module. And one more interesting stuff this reminded me of is that you guys have a massive offline play as well. That how we can transform this checkout intelligence to to your offline stores as well. This is another area that we will have to work together as a team. And this can be another disruption from this checkout perspective, because
Yeah.
these things have evolved outside India. Now in India also there can be multiple evolutions on the same. And since we have things like UPI, etc. here, running exclusively and digitizing everything, there can be a good play here.
I think, yeah, the single view of the consumer is what is a part of the O2O. One of the major tenant for this year, for the next 1 year for us, is how do I get a single view of the consumer, which fundamentally means a consumer who is in the offline, when he comes into the online, how does the website changes as per his need, and the other way around is when a consumer walks into my store and he provides me a phone number or he scans a QR code, how do my store understand his online journey and say, look, this guy who had come online 2 days back, he saw a particular blazer, now he's moved into my store, why don't I show him this particular blazer or this particular color or this particular size, so that he's able to buy. I think that's one of the big requirement of an offline world, of saying, to get a consumer is a problem in an offline. To get a consumer in an online is still, from a money perspective, if I may say, you can spend money and get a consumer comparatively easily in a e-commerce, but not that much in a offline. But how do you marry these two, which is one of the things which we intend to discuss with you guys, of to get a single view of the consumer.
Yeah, and the management of wish list, management of alterations, management of returns is another key area, where we have developed, a company called Omni, where we do deal with all this stuff for offline players, and we're trying to, bring in those all those experiences into our online play as well. And you rightly said, managing consumer as a single window is the key thing here. So, another aspect of it is that, since we do the last mile shipping as well, so getting like to get to when a buyer he sees a particular product on your store, and it's not available on the store near him, but it's available on the store, let's say 20 kilometers away from that store. So getting that thing ordered into that store and bringing it, arranging it, and keeping the experience same as it's like it's interacting with the same store is another key area here.
Right. True. 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 True.
So, Harshita and Ria, any other questions that you guys want us to?
Yeah. I am sharing. So we have this question, like some similar to what you were talking about, being present on the offline and online market. So the question is, hi, this is Jitesh Madhwani, founder and CEO of Flavor.in, an online marketplace featuring additive-free packaged food and beverage products from multiple vendors. Can this checkout method work for us?
Yeah, absolutely. It can work for any of you. Like checkout is like literally a commodity. Like, Paritosh also mentioned, people expect a lot of stuff in the checkout in every D2C thing. But, if you have multiple vendors, you can configure your inventory, from where it will be picked. And depending upon the which product your end buyer has chosen, and if it's available with multiple vendors or in multiple locations, you can have multiple EDDs, and your checkout process can work centrally. Your dispatch, your warehousing can work, at the back end, as per your requirement.
Yeah, so one question is for Blackberry. So also, this question is also really impressed by your customization support to Blackberries. There are massive. This is a massive company, but what could be the level of support, customizations, etc., to be given to small players by Shiprocket Checkout in that case?
I think, Gaurav, you will have to answer that question first.
Yeah. So, see, any level of customization we are open to. See, now when we look at customizations, we look at it as at a lens of is it replicable for all, or is it brand specific? If it's brand specific, then it must be a strategy which other brands might have planned for future, or they are not planning it at all. So what we do is we implemented both as of now. The replicable ones we prioritize, and brand specific ones we give them a certain timeline, and then we ask the brand that you do you want the strategy to to be tried by other brands as well. Do you want to other people also to work on these strategies? And if brand says yes, then we give it as an offer to other brands as well, and then those brands can try it. So checkout product, like we mentioned, it's an A/B testing product. You can fairly call it as an A/B testing product for you as well. Any strategy that you want to try for your brand, or you want to try publicly, you want to try privately, you want to try in UX, you want to try in offers, in coupons, or any other thing that you want to try, you can try. Depending upon the kind of any other integration you need specific to your brand, for that also we are fairly open. We see every integration as an opportunity only, because end of the day, if we work with more than 400 companies for integrations, like 10 or 20 of them will make it big at least, and then we will be compatible for everyone who is scaling along with them. So it's another network effect that we aspire to be on.
Got it. Thank you so much, Gaurav. So one question is that how Shiprocket Checkout will help to control COD orders.
Yeah, so Paritosh made it a very clear point that how BlackBerry did it. A lot of brands also can do it the way. We know the buyer profile, we know the location profile, we know the courier profile, and we also know the brand profile. So what we see is, sometimes a brand is offering a product X on one channel at rupees Y, product P on another channel at rupees, or the same product X on, price Z. So there can be, this is a very very layman kind of an example, but there are a lot of examples where RTOs are sometimes driven by brand strategies, RTOs sometimes is driven by product quality, RTO majority of the times is being driven by buyer intent, sometimes it is driven by trust profile of the brand, some very little times it's driven by the logistics experience as well, when your delivery boy intentionally doesn't deliver. So we know all those kinds of like aspects of these RTOs. We are figuring out more and more. We are going deeper and deeper. And we can, like, the options which are available as of today are, you can block the COD, you can make the checkout prepaid only, you can block certain pin codes, you can block certain amounts, you can give extra discounts where you see that intent flow of RTO is higher. So you can do a lot of stuff today, and more stuff as we progress.
Thank you, Gaurav, so much. So we have one more question. Like, we have a lot of questions with us right now. Seems
We
to
can
have a
take
long
it.
list of questions with us today. Another question is that how do you solve for intent apart from giving discounts? Like if somebody's intent, like how do we create more intent or more interest for the customer, like for any seller's website, in terms of, apart from seller discount options, what all how all how what other options are available for the seller, for the sellers to provide to the customers on their checkout page apart from discounts?
So,
Uh,
are
f-
you can take
yeah.
this.
Fundamentally, at a BlackBerry level, also, we are not we are an organization who doesn't prefer to offer discounts to the consumer, and we have a very strict policy in terms of discount. Now, do we also have the same issue of saying, because the consumer is coming online and he is looking for a discount, but if that's not a game, what do you do? So fundamentally, the only thing you can try to do is fundamentally play around the content, fundamentally play around the images, give him some of the promotions rather than giving a flat discount. Whether it's about buy an X amount and get an a Y amount, or you can give him some kind of a pseudo discount, which is to say, you buy a particular product and I'll give you a lapel free, or you buy a particular product and I give you X amount of a free. But it's a pain game. It's not a consumer who's looking for a discount. He's looking for a discount, and you can't do anything about it. But that's the reality of the life. Whatever I may, and he may still drop off from your website. Uh, but then but you can only thing which you can work is through developing a nice content, developing a right imaging, giving the right communication, telling him, look, you're gonna buy, I will deliver it in 1 day or 2 days to you, so that consumer has that confidence. But so these are some of the things which we tend to push, to see if we can deliver within 24 hours all the deliveries, whether it's through omni channel, whether we are able to give him much more information about a product, whether we can send him as an offline to our store if it's not converting from us. But yes, that's a genuine problem, and it will stay. Someone who wants to buy a discount will look for a discount. I mean, and you may not be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to add to it, what we can do is we can enhance more and more brand trust intent flow to the customer. See, that's one thing where, especially a lot of people don't trust e-commerce because, there are still some websites out there which don't deliver products. There are, some websites out there which shows you X and delivers you Y. So, we ensure that, all those things doesn't happen. We are able to give a good return experience as well. For prepaid buyers, we are able to deliver a rush experience as well. So more and more on the checkout front, to help the brand, satisfy the consumers apart from discounts is the interaction experience with the brand. So it can be the purchase experience, it can be the discovery experience, it can be the feedback experience, it can be the return experience.
Yeah, so Gaurav, as you both were talking about trust. One question is around the same, that usually customers are afraid of giving OTP. So can they turn it off on the website?
See, if we have a prefaced address for you, then in order to get your consent, we take an OTP. If we turn off an OTP, then if you don't have an address, we can turn off an OTP. Eventually, you will have to fill out the address. So that's a thing possible. Second is, for a prefaced address, OTP consent is mandatory so that we don't violate any data privacy kind of stuff. And also, and that's very important for us as well, as we don't want to violate anything. We want to be more and more on the compliance front as well. So third thing would be that OTP is somewhat required in impulsive purchases as well. A lot of brands, see, BlackBerry is a very renowned brand, so impulse behavior would be very limited on BlackBerry. But there are new emerging brands where they spend a lot on Facebook and Google, and a lot of it happens just as a kind of an impulsive pull buying action. So their OTP also gives a safeguard to the seller that buyer has intent. Otherwise, it will be just one click and order will happen and buyer and eventually the seller will end up with more than 30-40% returns as well. But to your question, yes, if your address is not prefetched, we can turn off the OTP. But if you want to prefetch the address, we will have to, take an OTP as a consent from you.
Thank you so much, Gaurav, for an insightful answer. We have like two questions that are more on the lines of people who are starting of their business and websites both. So two questions are more on the same lines. First is that as a new e-commerce website, there's no traffic coming in. So is there any suggestion to overcome that? First is that. Second is Shiprocket Checkout service available for custom dev websites as well?
See, for the second question, the answer is yes, we are available. 80% of it is generalized, 20% of it is customizable. We can work on any MVC kind of a product. We can work with PHP Laravel frameworks. We can work with Django Python frameworks. We can work with any custom dev tool website. You guys can, reach out to our sales team. On the first question, any new product, any new thing, see things whenever you start, you will have to start with zero and eventually it will come up. So you have to work on your product. You have to work on the audience that you want to sell the product for a start, or you want to start off with more and more broad audience. Very easy hacks can be, open a COD and try all the levers that we discussed with COD and see that you're able to penetrate more and more, and give a prepaid discount. Like give your product, for example, let's say in 1,000 rupees in COD, 800 rupees in prepaid. This can be a very good initial attraction for people. And if the product quality is good, you will get a good referral, you will get good organic, and then you will get better conversions on all the marketing platforms as well. Just work on your product and experience more and more in the start. I would recommend and try doing a lot of hit and trials on how to gather organically your audiences. So Paritosh, on this question, I would like to have your views as well.
Look, fundamentally, the question is how do you get the traffic to the website? Since I don't have a clarity on what kind of products are is being sold, very difficult to say. However, what I've realized over a period of time in my e-commerce journey is, do you have a right product for a consumer to either, so is there a need for that particular product, or is there a desire for that particular product? It has to fit between both of them. If the product does not fit into the need basis or into the desire basis, consumer may not come to you. Because what has happened over a period of last of 13 odd years of in my e-commerce journey, there are so many brands, so many products, so many website which have come up, that consumer is spoiled for choice at one part and consumer is afraid at another part. So your product has to fit either the need or a desire, and based on a need, that's how you will define the creatives and the content. Based on a desire, that's how you will define the videos, and the content again. But if your product doesn't fall in either of these two, it's very difficult for a consumer to come and visit you and buy from you. So I think that's an answer uh, the person with raised the question has to answer, because rest everything is about marketing money.
Yeah.
That you will have to spend marketing money. There is no second thoughts about it. But you have to define where does it sit. Because if it is a need, then it is more of a Google based marketing. If it is desire, then it is more meta based marketing. And then once a consumer come, then you can either offer him a COD or a prepaid or a discount or a promotion. But to get him, define both those things and then work according to that.
Yeah, absolutely. One more thing that I've seen in a lot of brands who have come in recent past is that, when they start on both marketplaces as well as their own websites. So marketplaces sometimes give you an early visibility, and then you can cash on that visibility with your product and experience of the product. Um, so thanks a lot, Paritosh, for that insightful answer and spending such a quality time with us. We really appreciate this, you coming out and speaking about your experience about the same.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks a lot. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so any other thing that you want us to cover here?
I guess Paritosh has already typed in the answers for the major two to three questions that people were looking for, and we are super glad to have you on board today, Paritosh. It was an insightful session from your end, and we could get great industry insights, because while we are working in the back end providing the tech, but the person who's already experiencing the tech and giving in insight on how they're experiencing it and then the product and integrating the same, it's really a game changing experience for everyone who's attending the session. And also thank you, Gaurav, for sharing your industry experience, your tech background, and your intelligence on the same. And as of now, we have more majorly answered most of the questions. We have a long list of questions, and we will try to cover the questions and answers to those questions in an email. So whoever joined in late, fret not. We'll create an email for you. We will send across a communication with all the insights, with all the highlights of the webinar. And if you have any questions, any further questions, we have been unable to answer. Apologies for the same due to the time crunch, and we were talking about everything that's in the industry. There's a scanner on your screen. You can scan the same and join a community, and we'll try to get in touch with you as soon as possible. However, when it comes to how to start with Shiprocket Checkout, we already have your details in. So once you receive the communication from your end, you will receive everything from our end in that detail, and you can go to our website and get started with your Shiprocket Checkout experience. And thank you, Paritosh. Thank you for giving your valuable time to our webinar, growth webinar. And thank you, Gourav Mangla, for your time and be a part of the webinar and giving the insights to all the budding entrepreneurs in the industry. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks everyone for joining. Happy conversion and shipping.